Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Well, today was pretty uneventful. I know this graph looks like there was a big drop, but this was a whole drop of like 600 points, which is like 1.5%, which is nothing. And we're already back at 40,500, which means we dropped less than essentially 1% today. Not very interesting. And really, but nothing really crazy either. We're kind of settling down. I'm going into this weekend slightly bearish. I'm going to tell you why I'm slightly bearish. Well, the Fed meeting was actually bullish because the people weren't actually afraid of what the Fed said. I think that's kind of priced in. But there's two other things. One, Joe Biden is meeting with Xi Jinping, and they're going to talk about maybe China helping Russia or not helping Russia. I personally think Xi's already decided. It doesn't really matter what Joe Biden says. He's probably going to start sending some support, so there could be a possibility of sanctions in the future. And obviously, sanctions would be really, really awful for China and also the world. That would drop the economy, which would actually drop crypto. But realistically, the other thing I'm really looking at is the oil prices. Brent's actually started to go up again. We actually went up about $2.76, but we actually went up like $6 yesterday, so we're almost at 110 again. And gas prices right now are affecting the economy. Gas prices right now are actually affecting crypto prices as well. And because gas prices have started to rise again, I'm slightly bearish for cryptocurrency. The reason they've risen is because like Russia might have to cut their production down by 30%. And although that really won't hurt the United States because we don't really depend on Russian oil, that will really hurt Europe, and therefore it will squeeze the global supply. So going into the weekend, I am slightly bearish. I'm not extremely bearish, but I am slightly bearish about all of this. And I think we could actually go under 40,000 again. I hope we go above 43,000, but I think there's a good chance we'll go under 40,000 again because of the oil thing. And if Russia has to hold back on the oil, there's really nowhere else that could pick up the supply immediately. So I think oil prices will go up and the stock prices will actually go down. There isn't really that much of a pattern. I mean, I know this looks bad, but we're just evening out around a little bit above 40,000. And this wasn't really that much of a drop anyways, and we already recovered more than half of it. So that's really not a big deal. Even if you zoom out to the 5-day, you'll see today's drop was very, very small. It's just like regular market movement. And if you actually look at the graph right now, like bottom to bottom, we're still going up. Top to top, we're pretty much evening out, or maybe slightly even going down a little bit. But bottom to bottom, we're actually going up. And I do think we're coiling around 40,000, like, 500 or so. I do see like it breaking to the upside on this pattern sometime later. But going to the weekend, like I said, I'm a bit bearish just because of the oil prices, because that's actually been driving everything right now. Chart patterns, I think, is generally upward over the long term. I think the like rising bottoms kind of like cancels out the maybe slightly declining or even tops. And I do think like it's overall a more positive pattern over the last 5 days. Over the last 1 month, well, at least the last half of the month. Generally, like over the last 1 month, I can see for like this, and this, we're basically just coiling out and evening out around 40,500. So I don't really see big movements. Like I said, I see the upside limitation at 45,000. But because of the oil prices, once again, I am kind of bearish going into this weekend. So if you look at the technical indicators right now, it's on a buy, but as long as crypto's been positive for the last few days, it's always on a buy. The oscillators are pretty much neutral. Momentum and MACD level are slightly on buys, but that doesn't really count for much for me. The RSI, the stochastic, and the commodity channel index are all pretty much neutral. They're smack dab in the middle, so I don't really see much going on here. The EMAs and the SMAs are on buy all the way down to 50, but the thing I'm looking for is the 50 to pass the 200, and the 50 is still 4,000 below the 200, so our golden cross hasn't formed. Now, these two numbers will get closer and closer to each other, the 50 and the 200, until maybe about mid to late summer, and then I think the 50 will actually cross the 200, going at the pace we are now. So maybe like mid-late summer, we will see a boost. Based on how numbers are actually going right now. We're still about $4,000 apart, but by mid to late summer, the 200 will be very, very close to the 50. We might get a golden cross, and then we might actually go up. So we maybe have like 4, maybe 5 months to actually wait if the pattern holds on until right now. The pattern could change at any time, however. But right now, in the pattern right now, I do kind of like predict maybe like in August or so, we'll actually start to go back up. It's very, very hard to say. But that's really what the golden cross, where the golden cross seems to want to cross right now, unless there's some big event that boosts us way, way up. But right now, there does not seem to be that event. In terms of the weekly, the oscillators are still neutral, and the moving averages, there's actually a buy for the 10, but the 20 and the 30 continues to be sell. So there's not a huge movement on the oscillators. Like I said, I'm a little bit bearish going into the weekend, so I wouldn't actually buy now. I'll have to check on oil prices again. If they start dropping again, I'll be slightly bullish. On the monthly, still kind of a sell right now because the 10 SMA and the 10 EMA are still negative, and of course the oscillators are still neutral. So the monthly thing is like I said, maybe in like 3 or 4 months I'll be bullish, but right now with the war not resolving, I'm still slightly bearish. Oil prices are going to determine a lot of stuff, and generally I think the market's going to react to fluctuations. The market does not like uncertainty, and there's always the prospect of China actually entering the war on the side of Russia, sending in the military supplies, which would make the world economy go into a spiral. So right now, that's why I'm somewhat bullish, both in the shorter and bearish in both in the shorter and longer term right now, until we actually resolve some of these issues. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.